This session is basically to highlight three things. That is how every technology is available in the nature, and being the part of the nature, we have to identify those technologies and convert them into functional tools for making the human life easier. Because I have been given to understand when I was a student that any technology does not die. What happens? That the technology so sorry for the problem related with the system and not with the system per se. So let us talk about the four universal truths, because without that we will not be able to delineate what is the role of a human being. So the first thing, that the universe is run by nature, and the nature, as we have seen on planet Earth, is largely what we are using for our living, for our sustenance, for our growth, for our future. So, before coming to this, let us visit the four universal truths, and they are very important for us because we are part of the nature. So the first universal truth is that everybody is unique, because nature does not use the same dye to create another piece. So the die is cast, and when the die is cast, then you cannot clone it. So what we find, that the universal truths are four, and this I could glean only after perusing various religious scriptures, including Quran Sharif, even Hadith, Torah and Talmud, the Holy Bible, 4 Vedas, all Upanishads, and lot many insights that have been given to me over a period of time by those whom I treat as my guru. So with this in view, I'll repeat that you are part of the nature. So we have to behave as if we are part of the nature. So the four universal truths are: everybody is unique. It means every individual is unique on this planet. Now, you are aware that science has proved that fingerprints of two persons never match. Even the way the retina of the eye has been created by nature does not match with anyone else's retina. Now, with this in view, the first truth is that everybody is unique. The second truth is that nature wanted the collaboration to continue. So nature has established that nobody is perfect. So if at all someone is perfect, that is nature. That is why nature should be treated as the creator who did not believe that anybody should be perfect, because nature wanted everybody to collaborate. So that is why nature used this principle that everybody on this planet will be imperfect. So you may give any designation, you may use it in any hierarchy, you may create any organization, you may create labels, you may create designations, but when you conclude everything, you find that it has come down to only one thing, that everybody is imperfect and there is no other way of handling one's life without collaborating with another person. The third universal truth happens to be that you will become whatever is your working ambition. And as a student of management and HR, I could find that, yes, it is true that we are having this uniqueness with us. So one, that everybody is unique. Two, everybody is imperfect. Third, whatever is your working ambition, you will become that. Confucius of China had once written that whatever was your choice, you are the product of that choice. So if someone's working ambition was to become, say, president of the USA, then one should be the citizen of the USA and one should take up politics as a full-time career. Rather, if someone wants to become a professional, then one will have to pursue the expertise in a particular domain. Otherwise, one will not become a professional. So the first universal truth is that everybody is unique. The second universal truth is that everybody is imperfect. And the third one is everybody is the product of whatever was or is or will be one's working ambition. Because ambition will lead to choices, and because of the choices, one will be able to shape the future of his or her life. The fourth and last universal truth happens to be that in this world, everything is available in packages, and that too pluses and minuses put together. Nature has also demonstrated in very many ways, amply clear, that for the creation, both positive and negative energies are required. So the very foundation of the existence of life is having both the positives and the negatives. Or in colloquial language, you may say that everything in this world is available in packages, pluses and minuses put together. Now, those scientists who were believing that we should study the technology that is already existing in the universe should be copied and may be made functional. So those people, including the scientists, philosophers, psychologists, anthropologists, they came together and formed one institute, namely Mimicry Institute in the USA. So they started studying the technology from the nature, and they made it functional for the betterment of human life. The best example that was created by Mimicry Institute is Velcro strip. Now you are aware that instead of using buttons or sewing two pieces together, now we use Velcro strip. Even in the industry that manufactures shoes, they are using Velcro strip. Even the pilots who are flying supersonic jets, their special suit is also having Velcro strip present. Even the people who are going to space, and that too for staying there for months, they are having their space suit, and Velcro strip is present very much there as well. I mean, it's of course not in public domain, but then let me share one example with you. Most of the heads of the government or heads of the state use the aircraft where everything is recorded. Everybody who is there is having the highest capability as per the decision of a nation, and they are put to service there. So the room under double quote, I'm telling the room that is used by VVIP for sleeping is not having any bolting system. They have got only Velcro strip inside and outside both, so that both of them could use it in case of any necessity, in case of any emergency. And that is why they use Velcro strip for closing the door from outside, and the VVIP uses the same Velcro strip from inside the cabin where he is sleeping. Now, the human civilization is basically based on three things. One, human species is the only species that has domesticated a large part of its own species. And roughly, it has created two classes. One, which we may call masters, and the others we may call professionals or slaves or whatever word you want to use for that. So with this, we find that the human civilization is based on greed. The second component on which the human civilization is based is known as intelligence. So how human species became so much intelligent that it started using the food available on the surface of the planet, or the food that is, the source of the food that is available on the planet, the source of the food that is available in the bed of the sea and oceans, and not even that, even the birds which fly, human species has used them also as a source of the food. So the one component of the growth of human civilization may be classified as the greed component of human thought process. So one is greed and second one is intelligence. So I was wondering as what is intelligence? So I started reading some scholars. I started reading their books, the articles. I started perusing magazines, journals, periodicals, and even newspapers. And what did I find? That Jung had given probably the best definition of intelligence. And I may not be able to quote it as it is, but I may certainly bring forth the meaning of how intelligence is perceived by psychologists. And I quote now, intelligence is that faculty of mind by which a human being exploits the environment to his or her own benefit. Or if I want to rephrase it, intelligence is that faculty of mind by which one exploits the environment to one's own benefit. So the greed and intelligence, these two tools used by human mind is the basis of the present day human civilization. So human species is the only species which is hunter and food gatherer both. And that is why even in religious scriptures, it is allowed that any living human being is doing dual role. One, human beings are hunting and eat the kill, and also they are food gatherer because they can collect fruits and other things, and they depend on these two. Unlike the rest of the species, which are either herbivorous or carnivorous. But human species is the only species which uses both, sources, both concepts, herbivorous and carnivorous. Now, because of the greed and because of the misuse of intelligence, human society created the concept of luxury. So now, with this luxury component, the problem is started. One, that it created a situation of two categories of people who may roughly be called haves and have-nots. So those who are haves, they are flaunting their wealth, they are over-consuming, though it is not required. They are indulging in sheer wastage of natural resources, though it has nothing to do with their need. And Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, whose picture is available on almost every bill of Reserve Bank of India, and who is treated as father of the nation, he had once made a statement in one of his discourses with three politicians, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and Subhash Chandra Bose. And Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi told, look, on this planet, everybody's need can be fulfilled, and it is having enough resources to allow the needs of an individual to be fulfilled. But he brought one more condition. And the condition was that this earth has got everything for the need of the human race, but not for the greed. The greed brought the storing capacity, and the very lifestyle of human beings underwent a change, especially with the advent of 21st century. And now we find that we have exploited the nature so much. I mean, to be specific, the planet nature, that it is moving towards the tipping point. The then Vice President of the USA, Al Gore, had started a movement by which he was trying to save, at least arrest, the planet that is inching toward the tipping point. So now, whether we like or we don't, we find that we are not in a position to afford this style of living. The planet has already been overused, misused, exploited because of the human greed, that maybe 50 years from now, we may not have a planet Earth to fulfill our needs. Daniel Goleman brought a concept of ecological intelligence, and I mean, as a person who has been an academician, we will naturally talk to you about theories, concepts, principles. But I think this is the high time when I should request my systems team to bring a slide before I comment on it. Please put one for me. So friends, while they are working on it, they are techno-savvy, which I am not. So it may take a few seconds. You may take it as if it were a mental prep. Now, there is one conflict whether nature is to be followed or whether religion is to be followed. Now, first, I mean, when I was starting this interaction with you, then I was talking that we are a part of the nature, and the farther we go, the weaker we become. But what happened that religion was devised by human society, and after studying so many religious scriptures, I found that every religious scripture is trying to help people to attain the sublimity known as spirituality. But unfortunately, the rituals that are used by clergy leads to certain catastrophic situations where we find that instead of pursuing the unison known as spirituality, which is common among all the religions, the clergy has converted the masses and they are so much bogged down with the ritual that the real purpose of religion they have forgotten. there was a study to find out what is more important. Is it religion or is it culture? So it was studied largely in the domain of knowledge management, and then the researchers could conclude by using triangulation method. In simple English, you can say that triangulation method is nothing else but using the quantitative and qualitative both methods together, so that the conclusion to which they arrive at after that part of the research is over is reinforced one, as if it were reinforced concrete. So researchers could establish that culture is more important than religion, and it is because culture is an outcome of the human activity, while they were treating nature as supreme. The conflict started when they started behaving like masters, and then they started moving away. They did not want to be at the mercy of the natural forces like inclement weather. So in earlier scriptures of human society depicts that they were the people who were talking about natural forces like air, like sun, like moon, like visionette, like flora, fauna, and whatnot. Slowly and slowly, when the natural forces were given an identity of their own by personifying, then religion came into conflict with the nature. Because in solar system we are aware that it is sun around which rest of the planets are rotating. So when Copernicus told that, when he studied, he found, oh my God, it's not the sun that is revolving around the earth. It's in fact the earth that is revolving around sun. Naturally, the then political establishment did not like it. So the king took it as a part of the blasphemy. And because it was part of the blasphemy, so there was a fear that he should be imprisoned. When Copernicus was being taken to the prison, he made his very popular statement, nevertheless, earth moves around sun. And today all of us know that, yes, that is the reality. But still, most of the religious and the religious leaders are not accepting this. So, the ritual part of the religion became so prominent that it led to genocide. When I look at the history, so how Hitler treated those who were having faith in Judaism and not in Christianity. So that symbol swastika is in fact the a bit tilted one, in order to demonstrate that it is not the swastika as such, the symbol. It is the crooked part of the Christianity which made that mindset of Hitler. And everybody knows about those camps, how millions were tortured and killed. Then, even in modern history, we find that the human nature has not undergone a change, still the greed is very much available, and we are not confining to fulfilling the needs only. And that is why people are becoming richer. And what do? They flaunt their wealth, their opulence, their power, and whatnot. But people should accept that we should have faith in nature. Please remember, we have got only one planet. So, for God's sake, the intelligence which was sharpened by human society, and psychologists created grades that if your score is this much, then you are genius. So the total population available on this planet, 0.25 to 1% only is known as genius. And roughly speaking, 2% of the total human population on the planet may be treated as dolt. In popular English, they call idiots, or whatever you want. You can use that term as per your requirement. So what we find that 1% at the top and 2% at the bottom, they are minuscule. So majority of the population is having average IQ. And some people suffer from this complex without realizing that human brain has been created by nature to keep only 3 things in focus. And that too in order of passion, preference, and priority. I will not talk much about the ritual or what is sacred or what is not sacred. And certainly I am not going to take into our discussion the term known as profane. Rather, I will take you to some of the fundamental things that we should realize. Whether it is human resource management or whether it is the system where people and machines together are having interface and their work. Now, the problem starts that when a child is born, the first thing child does is crying, so that the lungs open up, they become sort of balloon, and then respiration starts. But with that, one more wonderful thing happens, and that is known as tabula rasa. So tabula rasa is a concept where we find that we are human beings by which we can take care of one thing, that the moment the child is out of the womb of mother and child cries, the status of the human brain starts recording of activities. So that state of mind is given a name by psychologists, and those psychologists have used the term tabula rasa, T-A-B-U-L-A, and second one is rasa, R-A-S-A. So tabula rasa is the clean slate of the brain of the child. But the moment child cries, the recording starts. So when the newly born babe is thrown into the tub, then suddenly the recording starts. Oh my God, the comfort zone is over. It's very bad out there, and then I have to do something for my survival. Of course, child requires the help, the care, feeding and whatnot. But then the recording that had started, while suddenly there was a change, the comfort zone of the womb of the mother is not available anymore. And world out there is very wide. So I have to do something for my survival. So if parents are not aware about the child's psychology beginning with the tabula rasa status, then they don't know how to take care of parenting and grooming. And zoologists have proved that by the end of the 5th year, the human brain is completely developed. And in fact, it is at par with the adult. The brain of the adult and the brain of a child by the end of the 5th year is developed equally. Only the body of the child is not that much developed. So if parenting and grooming, these two are taken care of, then child will be brought up in a different way. And the other parts of the world where this thing is not studied as deeply and not practiced, there they think that child is a child and child is not developed. No. By the end of the 5th year, human brain is completely developed. Only the body is looking like that of a child. And similar thing happens when someone grows old. Now, euphemistically, we call them senior citizens. So, till dementia sets in, they look at the body and declare that he is old and thus infirm, thus not productive, thus requires help and whatnot. But then these are the conditioning that has been created by the human society. So, in order to ensure that the principle of Andon is implemented in human resource management, not only for the present requirement of Industry 4.0, but well beyond this, Industry 5.0 and maybe even beyond. Because I have been given to understand that the highest internet is available between Mars and Earth. And I have also been given to understand that there is a helicopter. It has been christened as Ingenuity. So it is on the Mars and it takes flight to various places and collects samples and the data is sent back to NASA. And there they analyze and try to find out how planet Mars is different or unique compared to that of Earth. I don't know how far it is correct or not, because people who deal in this domain are under oath, but still I could gather during my notoriously popular sojourn in the USA that there is a machine that is manufacturing and it is generating oxygen. But since I'm not in a position to confirm that, I want you to take it with a pinch of salt. And for God's sake, please undertake a small research. Now, since we have only one planet and the planet is already overloaded, planet is already overexploited, our activities have created larger hole in the ozone layer and the radioactive rays from sun are directly coming on to Earth. And this hole is getting larger and larger and larger day by day by day. So, for God's sake, we have to think in terms of only one religion, only one culture, only one reality for peace and survival and meeting the needs, and that is known as humanity. Gone are the days when Chinese economy was different and Indian economy was different and American economy was different. No. It is just, it's highly interrelated and interdependent situation where, frankly speaking, national boundaries are not the realities. The realities are that we have got only one human settlement. Roughly, you may call it global village. Whether you like or you don't, the whole world on planet Earth is, wherever human settlement is there, is covered by the umbrella term known as global village. And since this global village is highly interdependent and interrelated, and the benefit are handicapped situation, whatever you call it, the distance is getting reduced. Telecommuting is a fashion, and global economy is a reality. So strife in one part of the world will have impact across the globe. Catastrophe in one part of the planet Earth will have its impact globally. So the three realities that we are facing today are that we have got only one human settlement, that is global village. We have got only one economy for our activities required for fulfilling the needs, that is global economy. And whether you like or you don't, if you want that Andon should be brought in human resource management for industry 5.0 and beyond, then we are left with no other choice but to follow only one religion, and that is the religion of humanity. I think with this, I should stop. And if there are certain questions, then I would like to take it. I find some of the hands are getting raised. Let me see what is in store for me, because I did work well on the slides, which is the norm of the present day. I was bit impromptu. I was bit impulsive. I was bit provocative. But then all these were required. Probably I could not make my point. Or probably it was left out somewhere. Or probably whatever I talked was having its relevance with the Credential program of World University titled Andon in Industry 5.0 and beyond. So till I get the question, I'll wait. Systems people are giving me the feedback. Yes, there is a question, and let me read it out for you so that all of us are on the same page. And the question goes like this: where to strike balance in the domain of humanity when there are situations like World War III? Good question. Very good question. You see, the conflict is between two types of politics. Roughly speaking, One quality is known as democratic, where people participate in formation of the government from their own. And the society, which is roughly known as totalitarian, where the government believes that everybody should his or her 100%, but his or her consumption will be regulated by the state. Now this creates problem because while discussing about the four universal truths that everybody is unique, so you have to respect each other. Since everybody is imperfect, so you have to collaborate with each other. Since you are product of your working ambitions, so you have to recognize that another person may also have working ambition. And fourth, that in this world everything is available in packages, pluses and minuses put together. So with this, the situation which appears to be like, as if the World War the Third is waiting in wings, but whatever data analysis I did, I am data-driven person, so I find that in a situation like this, though people are thinking that World War the Third will become a reality, but frankly speaking, everybody knows, including great leaders like Narendra Modi of India, Xi Jinping of China, Putin from Russia, and Biden of USA. Even the group of nations like NATO or Quad, ultimately, everybody knows that the catastrophe that will get created in case World War III really happens and nukes are used, then Earth will be shattered into pieces. And I believe that good sense will prevail on all the leaders. So far, they have not gone beyond traditional war. And I still believe that the situation may appear like where World War the Third is ensuing and going to become reality. No, I personally believe it's more of propaganda, and World War the Third will never take place because the situation way back in 1942 to 1945 were different. The World War still looked like economies were still self-reliant and patriotism was at the top. And I'm getting a vision that someone had told me when I was a student that patriotism is the last resort of a scoundrel. So to my mind, I'm thankful to the person who posed this question, but then World War III will never become a reality. Thank you so much for bearing with me and my nonsenses. Bye-bye.